told him I wouldn't do it, but I have a hard time. So I want to try to explain a little bit around the infrastructure. So let me go over. If you can't see, so north of here would be the golf course. So as you can imagine, most of our patrons, what you probably find if you park in gold or yellow, or I should say Great America Lot or yellow, or the Convention Center garage or blue, you're all entering and walking in this area.
Correct.
So we have a couple issues in year one that you probably noticed, is you have what we call ped traffic or pedestrian traffic that mixes with car traffic, and then it also mixes with the VTA light rail traffic. So that train would go every 7 minutes. Well, what you probably found when you were entering that first year, which was really bad, is you're getting held up by both the train, then pedestrians, and then cars in and of itself. So the reason why, as we think about long term, most of our parking is over in this area as it sits today. The lion's share of our parking in the future, once the development occurs, will be over here in surface stalls. So we're talking with developers now around what we do over those train tracks, what type of pedestrian walkways we create. And that's why we haven't spent a lot of infrastructure today, because I think where 70% of our fans enter this way, that will change sometime in the future. And so we're just trying to be smart around what we do. The other thing that we're looking at now is if this parking lot remains the same, what type of investments do we look at relative to smart landscape architecture? So if you think about literally building specific pedestrian walkways, so adding landscape elements into it that would give people the areas in which they walk, which wouldn't slow down car traffic and transport. Now you might not believe this, but it is true in which we exit everybody in this building under NFL best practices. Now, I'll tell you, that's not good enough for us. It's a fact, that is true, but that doesn't make you feel any better, and it shouldn't. And so I just want to give you the landscape of sort of what's going to happen in and around the stadium, because that will dictate when we start to spend that money on infrastructure and where you park. And the good news around this development is there's going to be around 10,000 surface stalls in which you'll be able to park in. So we don't have a problem per se on the number of stalls. Our issue a little bit is especially on exit, because everybody's going at the same time, is the lion's share of the cars are over here. And so we try to be smart in some sense of, even if it's not capital improvements, I think in year two you probably saw what we call contraflow. So where we shut down Great American Parkway and all cars go one way. So then we're smartly using the 9 lanes to go out or exit one way. And that improved our scores literally about 10 to 15 minutes in each lot. So this is like, trust me, we work on these things daily. And Makira's not in here, but we got a bunch of experts working on our traffic and transportation flow. A lot of it is trying to create some good south access to 101 long term. We're working with on the 237, because that infrastructure was never built for the stadium per se and the related development. And not to bore you with politics, but cities don't necessarily maintain the highways like in other states at times. It's more of a state-run infrastructure project, so the 237 exchange needs to be really driven at that level. And we're working real hard on public transit too, because we're supportive of Measure B. We're working on, we're trying to get Caltrain and BART here long term. So you can imagine those railways exist. So just trying to firm up that as we move forward over the course of our 40-year lifespan. Sorry.
No worries. Thanks, Al. So I'll kind of segue into the next slide here, which is really the parking lot exit times. So as Al alluded to, we did make great improvements from year 1 to year 2. Contraflow is the biggest reason for that, but we did make some other small tweaks there. When we measure exit times, the top piece is really, it starts right when the game ends, and then will end when 95% of the lot is empty. So that's a timer that we keep. I don't think this is...
You're good. You're good.
It is? Okay. Then the bottom half actually shows your perceived exit times. So what you'll notice here is the perceived exit times are actually quicker than how long it takes to get out. What this is probably due to is it might take you 10 to 15 minutes to walk to your car, get to your car, get in, and then exit. So this is really, I look at this as more of how long you guys are waiting. And the NFL best in class time that Al alluded to is 42 minutes. So we are better than that. We still strive to get better than that. But both in actual times and perceived times, we've made significant progress since the first year. In terms of improvements, one thing that we heard in the focus groups a number of times was just the ability to come into the tailgate lots open